How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you, Raj?
I'm good. How is the weather there in Uttarakhand?
It's still it's still very pleasant here.
Pleasant,
It
huh?
has rained a little bit in the last few days, and we are still kind of experiencing a little bit cold here.
Uttarakhand is so beautiful. I know we talked about it the Mohammed Deepak episode, but I saw a movie last week. Um,
Hmm.
what is it called? Jab Kitab Khuli or something like that. Have you seen it?
Okay.
It was all set in Uttarakhand, and the beauty of the place with the Himalayas in the background. Oh my God! I don't know if every part of Uttarakhand is like that, or it just the movie just showcases the beautiful side of it. Have you not seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but Uttarakhand
Jab
is
Kuli
very
Kitab.
beautiful. Okay,
Jab Kuli Kitab.
I think I have heard of it. It's
You should
a
watch it.
recently released movie, right?
2024 actually. No, it's not
Yes.
recent.
Okay.
It was such a beautifully crafted movie about family. Um, we loved it, and the setting was amazing. Songs are good. You know
Okay.
what?
Why was it set in Uttarakhand? Do you know?
I don't know why it was set in Uttarakhand. I think it's just a location. That story could actually happen anywhere, pretty much. I
Okay.
think. Uh,
Nothing specific to Uttarakhand. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see anything specific about Uttarakhand, but I'm glad it was Uttarakhand because we recently talked about it, and because there's so many places in North India that I have not actually visited. I've gone to
Mm.
a lot of places that are the popular destinations, but Uttarakhand is not one of those that I actually went.
It's very, very beautiful because the
Yeah,
mountains and mostly it is mountains, so that's why it is wherever you
yeah,
go, you have very superb kind of natural beauty. So
yeah. So those paintings in the background, are they of Uttarakhand as well? Because I know your wife does all those paintings, right? And you guys just had an art show today.
uh, yes, there she does, but these paintings are not specifically of Uttarakhand.
Okay.
Uh, some paintings are actually of landscapes that she did when we were in Europe. So these
Okay.
are uh, European landscapes that she painted.
Yeah. Was this the first art show you all had, or
No,
do you
she
guys
has,
do? Or do you
yeah,
frequent
she has participated in other art shows before.
that she tries to sell?
Yes, she does sell her
Okay.
paintings, right?
So
So
that
we
painting
have.
in the background, the one with the leaves, the tree, how much will that go for?
I'll have to ask her.
Okay, you'll have to ask her. So is it? My wife also has, had an art show a long time ago in Tennessee, and she's also a very good artist and does amazing charcoal paintings. But it's not very easy to sell these paintings in these art shows. Uh, I think we bought more paintings that day than we sold. We had this.
That's what happened today also.
I don't know.
We
Maybe it's an
bought more
artist
than.
thing. I'm there trying to sell, but then to sell her paintings. But she was going around admiring other paintings and buying it. So on one side,
Yeah. You
making money, on the
also,
other side.
yeah, I understand. You also want to help other artists, and that's what the sentiment
That's kind
was
of
today we had.
the environment is multiple artists and they kind of support each other, right?
Yeah, and there are so many artists, and at this art show, for example, there were quite a few artists. Kind of, there were 25 or 30 different stalls where
Yeah,
artworks were being displayed and sold. So
yeah.
you have obviously competition there, and selling art in a show like this is not typically like you go to an art gallery, because where seriously interested people go and they pick and choose, and they have gone with a kind of a mental makeup that I'll be spending some money to buy a good art.
The people who are collectors, maybe a lot of
Collectors or
money they
even
want to
those
spend on
art
art.
lovers
Art lovers, yeah.
who have
And I
the
always
money to
wondered
spend.
how much do people spend on art, right? I remember my wife once bought an artist's painting from Ukraine, and
Hmm.
it was it's hanging on our walls here. But But you can sell these on social media.
It's easier to sell on social media because you can reach a wider
Wider
audience.
audience. And then selling prints versus the originals. I mean, I guess a lot of people try to sell the prints, but then the original art is what I'm talking about, right? You get that
Original
one
art,
unique piece, that one unique
exactly,
piece. You start with maybe a social media marketing, you put up an Instagram page, put all your art there. But that one piece is unique and nobody can buy it
exactly.
after it's
Only
bought. I
one
mean,
person
only
can
one
buy.
person.
Yeah,
I'm like this. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
can have it.
only
Yeah,
one. Well, nobody can buy this. And sometimes the artists don't even give away their beautiful piece. I mean, you'll have to really detach the artist from the art because sometimes the artists are so protective about their art. I know my wife is. Sometimes he just doesn't want to sell that piece because it's the one and
same.
only piece that took a lot of time and maybe it's priceless.
Exactly. Same with my
So
wife also. Some pieces he doesn't want to sell, so it makes sense to kind of sell the prints of those paintings.
yeah.
But you are right. But people often don't realize the difference of unique original art work and the prints. But original art is original art, so you have only one unique piece. We do buy some artwork, but recently we have tried to kind of buy artwork from, you mentioned Ukraine, but we try to buy from Palestinian artists and Ukrainian
Oh, very
artists.
good, very good. Yeah.
So basically, we try to buy it for a cause rather than.
You know, these artists, yes, there's a cause associated with it. They're struggling. Their whole world is in disarray right now, whether it's Palestine or Ukraine or now Iran, right? But not only are we at risk of losing amazing talent, we are also at risk of losing a big piece of this history across the world, whether it's
Yeah,
just not just the talent itself, right? But Iran, look at the devastation that's happening there, and
absolutely. Yeah,
the
we are
history
losing so
being
much of cultural heritage
cultural
and
heritage sites being
heritage.
bombed uh, for the sake of this nonsense war, right? We are not only losing artists but also the art itself. I mean, we are just destroying ourselves, right? Like everything that we hold dear, like what we can talk about culture and our unique creations. We're
Hmm.
just now at the stage where I feel like everywhere is getting destroyed. Music from Palestinian artists, musicians, and poets are just beautiful. Like
Hmm.
just to listen to, you might not understand the whole thing, but then
Yeah,
there's so much of history and culture there that we are losing.
same happened in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Afghanistan lost its cultural heritage in the bombings and all that. So we know about that particular famous Buddha statue that was demolished in Afghanistan during the war. So it's sad, yes, and seems like at some level it seems like deliberate because uh, the the most powerful country, the US, is kind of making it clear that they want to wipe out a particular civilization completely.
well,
And
yeah.
civilization not only in terms of lives but also in terms of the whole.
Well,
Uh,
statements like that when a president makes that I'm going to wipe out this whole civilization or something like that he said on his Truth Social. I mean, those are rare that somebody would have the audacity to say something like that, even if it's the president of the United States. Um, I don't know if the intent was exactly there. It was, intent definitely shows in the message. The intent
well,
is
I mean,
visible.
how do you measure intent in such scenarios? Because
We can't.
what has been stated, more or less, has been already kind of implemented on hindsight, more or less. I mean,
Hmm.
let's say, let's give them the benefit of doubt that it was just kind of saying for the sake of saying, just for bravado more than anything else. Then you risk that you are not taking it seriously and it actually might happen.
Hmm.
So So you
Yeah.
can't really ignore it in
No, you
that
can't.
sense.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it, and it is a kind of statement of committing genocide. And
Yeah.
we have seen that in the past happening also. Israel has done the same thing
Hmm.
repeatedly, and s- and the sad part of it is, and the risky part of it is that we ignore it as saying that, oh, this is just bravado, and we don't react to it, or we don't do anything about it, and it
Yeah.
gets worse and worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. The lines between whether this is bluff or just a tactic is blurred right now, or
Mm,
completely wiped out,
exactly.
right? Because once you get hit a few times, like Iran did in the guise of negotiations, they got attacked. Nobody trusts anybody, right? So what is this all about, right? We know on one side there is a big U.S. economy hit, right? The world economy is completely
Yeah,
in disarray, right? Everybody's got issues right now, and we'll take decades probably
to
uh,
recover from
to
the,
recover
yeah,
from the damage
the
that's been caused. Geopolitical power has
but
shifted.
hmm,
So Iran has become now almost in the top four. US, you have China, Russia, and now Iran, because they
Iran.
control the shots in the Strait of Hormuz.
Hmm,
So it's crazy how that even power dynamics have shifted, right? What will that do to global coexistence? Forget about global economy, just coexistence.
hmm.
Like my sister-in-law's about to travel to Brisbane to visit my niece who's graduating. Everybody's scared because they have to fly from Dubai, and then maybe that corridor is not probably under any threat right now towards Australia, but to be in a volatile place like UAE where it can get hit anytime, and everybody's scared just because UAE is such a major hub,
Exactly, yeah.
and
And
their economy itself is like completely disrupted, right?
the irony of the situation is that flights are now flying over Pakistan and Afghanistan, and these routes are now considered
Safer.
safer.
Funny.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, you start to kind of laugh about it, and it's so kind of, if it was
Crazy.
not so serious, it would have been funny actually.
Yeah.
But I mean, at another level, it's just unbelievable how things have changed suddenly.
Yeah.
So
Why did Pakistan emerge in this as a negotiator? Do you even know? I mean, is it because uh, I mean, obviously they had something to lose here because they they will not survive if this war continues on. Their economy is
exactly.
already in crumbling states and status, and so they had. I think it was a necessity to some extent, but I also wonder if there is more to it in terms of the politics of this, right? Where China might be probing Pakistan to
Yeah, looks
be a
like
player in this. Yeah.
yeah, it looks. I mean, like you said, Pakistan's economy has been in a very bad state for several years now, and politically also they have been quite a bit isolated, except for the last kind of few months or about a year that they have been kind of talking to US and trying to kind of rebuild their kind of relations. But this is also has become this war has brought to the frontiers of Pakistan the
Mm.
issue of its existence itself, both economic and political.
Mm.
So, and I think they were smart enough to kind of play a role to for for their survival sake, obviously, to play a role of
Mm.
negotiating a ceasefire between US and US, Israel, and Iran. Now,
Yeah.
how that will play out, you'll have to wait and see how the negotiations go this weekend.
This whole ceasefire and truce that is brokered by Pakistan. I mean, I don't think anybody really did anything. You know,
Why do you say so?
Trump's
Statement.
genocidal threat
Yeah,
of we'll wipe out the whole civilization, that started it. That showed probably a point in time wherein maybe Trump was very frustrated about what is going to happen because nothing was working. The oil prices were going up. The stock market was really taking a hit, and that was probably his last straw of just trying to threaten Iran to get out of it, right?
Hmm.
So it was this tactic that didn't work, and so
Or did
immediately,
it work actually? If you look
no.
at it from the
How do you say it's worked? You listen to kind of the centrist media and all these people, not just on the left here, but more on the right, who are criticizing this. Old Trump supporters who are basically saying how
hmm,
this was just Iran's 10-point plan was always there, and Iran is still talking about those 10 points,
yeah,
right? And they wanted ceasefire in Lebanon, which again, as you can see how this played out,
hmm,
the genocidal threat didn't work, had to do something. So Trump said, okay, let's get to the negotiating table. There's no other go. They say we accept the 10-point plan, and then they came back out and said, no, we didn't do that. Go back to that 10-point plan that Iran suggested, which has nothing to do with nuclear thing, nothing to do with Strait of Hormuz opening up, nothing to do with anything else. Removing all sanctions from Iran, giving them all the
exactly.
capabilities, stop bombing in Lebanon. So this is like a very clear 10-point plan.
The statements keep changing all the time from President Trump, everybody else. So you don't know which one to believe and who to believe and not. But it's clear that Iran is having an upper hand still. And as you said, that there is no way out for them unless they accept Iran's 10-point proposal. When you say that we accept their proposal, basically you are saying that we were wrong all through. Why we went into kind of Iran when we attacked
See,
Iran.
they had to say they accepted a proposal, right? Because the market was taking a big shift in the
Is
US.
market the main concern for President
For Yep,
Trump?
yep. I think it's well known that if the market tanks, Trump is going to do something because everything has been about the market. He's a businessman at the end of the day, so I think the stock markets, the drive a lot of his immediate reactions
Okay, and how does it go with his status as the president of the United States?
in terms of his image, or are you talking about how does it go in terms of politics or policies? What?
Politics and policies, plus, I mean, typically, uh, we have some politicians here also who are businessmen also. They have business interests, but not to the extent that we have seen with President Trump. So,
Yeah,
if he's always looking at the market and how the market reacts and reacts to kind of decides his actions based on that, isn't there a conflict of interest and issue of
yeah, there is.
ethics there?
There is. There is. But
Yeah.
nobody's doing anything about it. There are so many conflicts in this administration, right? As opposed to what the previous administrations have done. I'm not of the opinion that administrations are all fault free and not corrupted. Right? Every administration, every politician, I think, is corrupt in one way or the other. People are corrupt too in one way or the other. I mean, like everybody's got that. But to what extent it is shown out to the public, what is seen by the public's eye, is what other politicians are very good at masking. When I came to the US, I always thought India was more corrupt than the US.
Mhm.
Today, I don't think I have that same opinion anymore. Because why did I think that India was more corrupt? Because when I was in India, I felt corruption right there. I felt it as an Indian on the streets. When I go to uh, renew my registration for my vehicle, or uh, and they ask for bribe. I mean, it was so open and evident that bribe is one way to get out of trouble. You know,
Hmm.
and so the officials capitalized on that. You give me under the
Or
table,
get things done. Bribe is
get
the
things
only
done.
way you can get something.
Get a passport, pay multiple people. Want to register your apartment? Pay people, right?
Yeah,
From the agents to the people who are registering your deed, everybody gets a cut.
yeah.
I'm sure it's still there somehow.
It
I
is
don't
very
think
much there.
corruption.
Yeah.
But what probably the Modi government did in many ways is to kind of put a lot of regulations in place. um, that there was a repercussion to doing that, right?
I
Um,
think more than that, what has helped a lot is the digitization of the process,
Digitization
right?
definitely, because you can't do a lot of these things. So
Yeah.
so the
For
common man,
example, if I get an LPG cylinder today, I book for it and I pay it online, and they
yeah,
have to deliver it.
yeah,
Usually, there would be kind of some kind of
yeah,
cuts and
yeah,
extra bribes to pay to get it delivered in time, and
yeah,
so those things have been removed
yeah,
now because of the processes being
yeah. So
digitized.
digitization definitely, makes it a little more direct and transactional versus you can't ask for bribe on a Google Pay, uh,
Yeah,
this thing, right?
exactly.
Now there are still areas wherein you have to go through a lot of red tape, so there's still, you maybe pay a lawyer and he might give a cut to many people. But that
That's
is
true.
okay.
That's
For me,
yeah,
that's fine. Like, get my stuff done. I mean, I'm not of the opinion that, if we need to pay something to get something done, if we are able to do it, and get it done rather than um, try to, run behind it forever. There are
yeah,
land disputes that have never resolved, right? There's still things that are still difficult to resolve, even with digitization. The other aspect of it is, I think, is social media and the fact of citizen journalism and the fact that there are a
yeah.
lot of YouTubers. There's a good side to it wherein everybody's got a phone and it can get leaked very fast. So a lot of that has changed. Like, I remember when I used to be commuting to work in Bangalore back in the early 2000s, when I stopped at the light one day at the signal,
Hmm.
the traffic cop came and took my key and went off. And he continued to do his work of letting the traffic flow and all that, right? I'm like wondering what to do. I can't ride the bike because he's taken the key, so I have to get
Take it
down
to
and
the
wait for
side.
him.
Yeah.
I knew this guy wanted bribe, and I said I don't have any money on me. Um, so he said, "You have it in your ATM?" I said, "Yes." All right, let's go. Gave me the key, hopped on the back of my bike, and then we went to the ATM nearby. I took out the 300 rupees and gave it to him, and then he probably walked from there or took a auto rickshaw and then went back wherever he was to the next person he's going to take money from. I have even bribed people with food stamps in India. So those were all out in the open.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't happen, I would think, right? Because you can't really get away with that because somebody will record it, or there are strict
Yes.
regulations against it.
Yeah. That's true. Social media and like you said, the citizen journalism part of it,
Yeah.
that has really helped in kind of reduce that kind of obvious kind of open kind of
Yeah.
corruption.
So all that to answer your question about corruption here in America, I always thought India was more corrupted. Now I have a different feeling. I feel like India is a little more controlled. Digitization, everything is kind of making it a little less corrupted on the outside, while it is going the opposite direction in the US, manipulating the market for the benefit of making money, for whether it is for billionaires or for his own family, I think, and then accepting the gifts, right?
Gives, yeah.
Um, Again, all those things that were not so evident in the US before with previous administrations. I don't know if they did or not, right? But it was not out in the public.
Okay,
This
there are two
administration
things
doesn't
there.
seem to really care about it.
Yeah, and there are two things because one, it was not evident. Is it because it didn't exist so much, or is it because they were better at hiding it,
I
or
think
they
it's a
were
better
more?
both. Yeah, see, some
Yeah.
politicians I'm sure would have been better at hiding it. Uh, I don't think previous presidents, whether it's Republican or Democratic here, were. I mean, they take donation. They get donations through what they call super
Of
PACs and all
course. Yeah.
these
Yeah.
lobbies, right? So um, those happen, and it funds their
And those are not
campaign.
illegal by law, right?
They're not illegal by law. So none of it was made that obvious. I hate to say there's no corruption at all. I think, again, to my original statement, I think politics itself need a little bit of give and
Give and
take,
take.
or a little bit. Otherwise, you can't survive in politics. Now it's everybody, pretty much on the left and the right and the center, who are all exposing these kind of um, dealings that are happening. I always feel that corruption starts at the top and trickles down to the level, right?
That's
So
true.
while
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
not there yet, it's just a matter of time, like because it becomes
Yeah.
normalized, and
Well,
that's what
what
happened
is
to India probably, right? Over the years, it became normalized because it started from the top and then it just trickled
yeah,
down all the way. It probably takes a lot of time. Maybe in today's
takes
world, it might take
decades.
less.
Yeah, I think it may actually happen faster. You are right, because the unique situation with this administration is that they don't care about it anymore being exposed with this
Hmm.
level of corruption. So it's that this blustering attitude. Okay, we don't care whatever people are saying. We'll say it openly and do it openly in a way. So that basically encourages more and more people to also behave that way, because if the people in power do it, obviously everybody else will follow the lead in a way, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, so or subconsciously. So it's going to probably trickle down and have that effect at a lower level. You are right, but it's amazing how just how do I thick-skinned about it, and also not being worried about how everybody else perceives it.
Hmm.
So kind of make a big difference in how the whole behavior, social behavior, political behavior in a way changes for the entire country. So it's
Yeah, it is almost the authoritarian sort of attitude, right? Like I can do anything I want, you can't do anything about it.
hmm.
And when
and
there are
I'm not
no
as and I am not ashamed to say that I am doing this.
true, right? You because that is the persona that was created that became popular is the truth teller in him, right? Like you know, and that's how the truth social that he's created is also again the platform is public. Like he's using his own platform to actually share what is called his truth. But all that is the persona that was built up that gained following in the beginning because yeah, here is a non-politician who's come into power who tells you as it is. So there
Hmm.
was value in that. When you want somebody who speaks like you, doesn't sound like a politician or anything. So again, that all that gained his popularity. That's the biggest failure in politics here in the US is where everything is now centered around one man's wishes um, and
And the echo
dealings
chamber around him. Yeah.
and the yes men around him. They took an oath to
Hmm.
uphold the Constitution. When they all fall behind one man and does not oppose or react to it and just goes with it because they want to stay in power, they want to stay keep their jobs. Or they're fearful of the outcome of what might happen to their own political career, then that's where corruption starts, right?
Yeah.
You're corrupting your minds first before you corrupt everything else. Your minds are getting corrupted
That's
first. So
true. Yeah.
that's the key here, I think. If you
And
allow your mind to get corrupted, then it's gone. Then it's a slippery slope after that.
how does one actually break this chain?
Again, how does it? I mean, give me an example of one country that has broken the chain. Like, if it is not through democratic-led elections and change of power every X number of years, like
Years. Yeah.
having governments go on, in my opinion, for more than one term, and that too consecutively, is a hit or a miss.
Hmm.
Right? Obama went for 2 terms. You can call it uneventful. He functioned within the boundaries of the constitution and the judicial, uh, the laws in the country. Right?
Yeah.
There were no dealings about his family making money or his friends making money. There was no truth social sort of post that would create
Hmm.
chaos in the world. Not just Obama, anybody for that matter, right? Any other president for that matter. So this is all a first in America. So I think through democratic led elections is where you kind of bring about change.
Hmm.
Modi government, how long can he continue? Is this 2 terms
Well,
or?
he got elected for the third term only in 2025.
Oh, that's the third term.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So it's a right.
it's 12 years now.
So now it's, and
So
then there's no limitation. He can keep
no, after
being,
3 years, then there will be elections again.
he
So
can come back to power as long as he's
he
able
could
to.
be, yeah,
He
he
could
or
be
his
the,
party could be back in power again for the fourth
yeah,
term. So
yeah. I mean, when you look at that, it shows, it shows a very effective party that is able to stay in power,
hmm,
right? On one side. On the other side, it shows that the other party is weak, is not able to come into power, to shift the balance of power,
hmm,
to challenge maybe the areas where the current government is probably not doing a better job.
yeah. Unlike in the US, I mean, we have basically a multi-party system. So yeah, when we talk about BJP being in power, then in the opposition we have multiple parties.
Mm.
Basically, there is an opposition alliance. So when we say the other party, basically we refer to the opposition alliance, which is not able to gather the mobilize the votes that need to be
Yeah,
to defeat BJP and their alliance. They are also
yeah,
in an alliance. So to come
yeah,
back to power. So yeah, it's a failure of the opposition. You are right.
yeah. It's a failure of the opposition for sure. But in the long run, as everything goes good, nobody really cares, right?
Hmm.
But let's say something crazy happens, like what is happening with the US government going to war with Iran. Maybe the political situation here is shifting,
Hmm.
where we'll see it in the midterms in November whether that's going to actually matter or not. But once the House flips and then the Senate flips, and basically, Democrats are looking like they're in a good position, not because of anything that they are doing, because everything that the other party is doing wrong, right? So
Yeah,
again, you got to,
exactly.
capability wise, you can't give Democrats any credit.
Not any credit right
Any
now. Yeah.
credit. Now, will that help them? Because of the fact that there's no other way to kind of stop the madness.
Hmm.
If the
So
BJP
that
government does
basically
things
means
like that,
yeah.
if things go out of hand, if there is a communal issue, and then things is one issue that spirals out of control, it's very unlikely because the cabinet uh, within the Modi government seems to be a little more, independent thinkers. They're not all falling under the Modi persona, right?
No, actually, the perception is that the other side actually different in the sense that uh, if you ask the critics, they will say that it's all centrally controlled by one person, actually two people, Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, the Home Minister. They control everything, and everybody follows their instructions, directions, and their
Yeah, the critics will
agendas.
say
That
that. Critics will say
yeah,
that.
the
That's what the
critics will
critics.
say that, but their supporters actually not necessarily deny that. They say that this is necessary for a better
Yeah,
governance of the country.
yeah. That's the same thing
So
here too. Like the president is the ultimate authority, and then everything else kind of falls in line. There are checks and balances to make sure what everybody's doing is right. Similarly, I think
but
in India too, they're supposed to collectively do this, but the decision always lies in that one person, maybe two people, whatever the case is in India.
hmm,
You can't blame that. That's not a cause for concern. The cause for
no,
concern
it's
is,
not.
yeah,
It's not the decision making process. It's also the perception of basically like whatever goes in one person's mind is the diktat for everybody to follow blindly without questioning.
okay.
It's a kind of a similar situation, but maybe not as openly visible.
No, but
Uh,
but what are the consequences of that, right? See, we knew about that in the US for a long time, right? Like Trump always has yes men around him, yes men and women, right, around him. That is known. It's a known fact. Nobody really cared about that as long as if he did something wrong, there was somebody to oppose it. There was a judicial, there's a check. There are checks and balances. That's the main thing, to
Mm.
make sure that something, for example, you cannot go to war with a country without the Congress approval.
Mm.
You can't say things violating international law. You cannot.
But those things have happened.
Right. So there are examples to prove that this government is operating on its own without any balance of checks and balances.
Checks and balances, yeah.
Where
Well,
is the evidence
in
of that
case,
in India?
yeah, there is obviously there are a few cases where critics say that Modi could have uh, played it differently and didn't take basically the advice of his cabinet. For example, the demonetization of rupees. That was one instance where suddenly kind of announcement was made
Hmm.
without any not enough time given for people to basically
Hmm.
encash their 500 rupee notes, which were basically or 2000 rupee notes, which were overnight made illegal. And then you had the case of COVID lockdown, which happened at a very short notice. The announcement was made, which led to a lot of people stranded on because there was complete lockdown, so there was no public transport. People were left with no
Hmm.
choice but walking thousands of kilometers back home. All the migrant laborers and other people who had to get to their kind of home because they couldn't, their job was I mean basically gone more or less, so they had to all return home and they had no way to kind of travel.
See, India is a large country. Like, some of that is logistical issues. Like, if
There
you
is,
have to,
and that's why you have to plan it better. That's
you
why
have,
you have to consider all the aspects of how it is going to
yeah,
affect people's lives on the ground, right?
you should, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But again, those are not like, they all turned out to be good in the end. Like, for example, even in the US, the mask mandate was not dealt properly, right? The vaccine mandate was not dealt
exactly.
properly.
Hmm.
So you can't take a COVID situation. I think COVID situation is completely different, right? Whether
No, it
he
was
listened to it,
extraordinary situation.
yeah.
Nobody denies that.
So COVID situation,
Uh,
I get. Like, again, we in hindsight we can blame, but we don't know the real situations that are, logistical problems, right? You have to have a lockdown, and maybe the choice was to do it faster than actually wait, because mobilizing everybody and trying to, like, you can't even, we talked about it last week, you can't even find out how many kids are out of school in India.
mm, mm,
46 million people are out of school in India. Kids are out of school in India, and there is not enough coordinated effort to actually curb that. Forget about COVID.
that's true.
So
But at the
so
same
it is
time,
a logistical challenge either ways, because India's population is that huge. I'm
but we
not
have to,
saying we have to try.
yeah,
We have to try.
we have to try, but also
Yeah,
uh, you judge it. Of course, we judge it on hindsight because obviously nobody knew what the result would be. But when we know the result or the impact, that's when you can assess whether that decision was taken in the
sure.
kind of with the good intention and all.
I wouldn't hold any government responsible for COVID, because they all reacted in different ways. The outcome is what matters. In hindsight, you can critique everything, right?
Hmm.
You can always find flaws, and I'm pretty sure the people who are governing and making these rules and applying these, putting these laws into action, every government, they will have a level of percentage of error that they know this is going
That's
to
true. Yeah,
backfire
with any yeah, exactly.
with any decision that happens. But they look at the larger aspect of it and see, okay, widely is this going to work in the long run? And if history is telling us that India is has not lost, India is still surviving after COVID. It is still doing great after digitization. Um, that is an
Demonetization.
sorry, demonetization and digitization. During COVID, there was digitization that was
Hmm.
fully implemented. If the positives outweigh the negatives, then it is a good decision was
Yeah,
whatever the decisions.
logically yes, logically
Yes,
yes.
that's how you
Now,
judge after the fact, right?
yes, but the question is, how do you interpret the positives and negatives? In the sense that what I'm referring to is that we know that the purpose of demonetization was to basically wipe out black money, what
Correct.
that was in the market.
That's, hmm.
But the government data itself shows that
Hmm.
99% of that cash has gone back into the market. So
Oh,
that
really?
basically means overall, at a
Yeah.
kind of a broader level.
Demonetization, maybe, who knows, right? So that's good. It's
Exactly,
good that data is coming out. If you watch the
exactly. And
Durandar
its
movie,
impact is still being felt by, I mean, if you believe the analysts, its impact is still being felt
yeah,
by the
uh,
common people.
yeah,
But in terms
my,
of COVID, we have to look up the numbers.
mhm.
But the loss of lives because of the lockdown, because of COVID itself is a one thing, and it is believed that it was underreported. But the loss of lives because of the lockdown itself, and the loss of lives, loss of kind of livelihood and all that, that's something also has had a
Yeah,
deep
but you
impact.
can you can argue the opposite in terms of COVID. Again, you can argue the opposite also. If the lockdown had not happened, maybe the lives that would have been lost would have been much higher. You could argue
Hmm.
that. So again,
Hmm.
COVID was all about timing. How quickly can you put the mask mandate in place, and how will you make it mandatory or not? How quickly can you get the vaccines out? How quickly can you lock down? How could COVID was a timing game, right? It was all about.
Hmm.
I
Agree.
If you say there was a loss of life, I can say, there was also a lot less loss of life, right?
Hmm.
In California, same thing. They were like difficulty getting a lot of seniors in living, senior living houses. They had problems getting beds and all that. You look at any country in COVID, I think that everybody could be blamed for, could it have been done faster? Could it have been done sooner? In hindsight, you can say, yeah, what if you had done it sooner? You'd not lost this level of the migrant population or the senior citizens. You can always argue that,
Hmm.
but the same argument holds good on the other side, saying that if we had not done that, maybe you would have lost your life too.
Hmm.
So COVID is a timing game. Was a timing game. I will not blame any government for how it reacted, because they all did what was best, um, and we survived it. My issue mainly with COVID is with families who decided to stay in touch during COVID and then decided not to stay in touch after COVID. so,
Yeah.
if I, but demonetization, again, I'm not there when this happened. I was not there, and then I don't know what the reports are, and if you're saying that there's still more black money coming into the market now, even after that, man, yeah, maybe that is the report card which shows that was not effective. I think
Hmm.
the intent was still good, and I only know more about the intent now watching the Durandar movie, which I, which which again, it could be propaganda saying, you know this is why we did it, and at least now,
Yeah.
who knows whether it was, maybe some of it true, some of it is not, but the idea was to kind of cut out the black market immediately,
Hmm.
and a lot of people thought that was a very good, hard move, very strong move by a prime minister who just, he was doing a second term then, or a first term? Was it his first term?
It was his second term, probably.
Second term. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody, the the people who favored that said, wow, what a bold move. The people who had black money and couldn't react in time,
Yeah.
they
That.
they suffered. So maybe in the short term it worked, but then maybe there is really uh, more to do. Maybe demonetization itself was enough, because at the end of the day, the people who are providing, or flourishing the India market with drugs and black money and substances, um, you know, all that,
Yes.
the they will continue to find new
Yeah.
ways. you
Yeah.
know, the world
And
evolves.
they
So
have survived, and
So the
they're
counter argument
prospering
might
as
be
well.
that, yeah, it worked for some time, but then the bad guys got smarter, and
Yeah.
they're pouring more stuff into it. Now we have to find something new.
Hmm.
Demonetization worked for X number of years, and that's it. Now we have to find a new strategy. So that could be the counter
To a
argument.
limited extent, yeah.
Yeah. So Now, the abruptness of the demonetization, how quickly, like over a day, it happened and again it disrupted life. Maybe that was intentional. Whether announcing that a little, because if you had announced something like that, I would think common sense says that then the bad guys get a chance to
Yeah, yeah, of
do
course.
something
Yeah.
about it. So
Mm.
the only way to do that is like without again the Dhurandhar movie as an
Without
example.
notice, yeah.
Dhurandhar movie
That's
as the
true.
example of what could have been some of the bad guys thinking if when that happened is that they were about to put a lot of money into India, a lot of counterfeit money was about to go into India, and then this happened
Yeah,
suddenly. And if that
exactly.
is to
That's
be
the only way
believed,
to. Mm.
that's the positive use case that says, yeah, that great move, right? But again, bad
Absolutely,
guys
yeah.
will. Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that there's still more black money coming in. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise, but then the fact that there is more black money coming in means that all the loopholes have not been closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so interesting. So
To say the
all
least.
this discussion on this because of the painting.
As
From
you started it
painting, I don't know. We went from painting to demonetization and the movie Durandar. So,
and passed through the Iran war.
well, I think all this to say that art has so much power in it, right? That
Well,
art
the,
is able to spawn conversations. That's the power
any
of
day.
art. You can say, yeah.
Art has much more power. I'm not only, yeah, spur conversation, but also inspired uh, to kindle hope in those people who live in a very difficult situation. So, yeah, art has that power, of course.
And the fact that artists and art and culture and history is being erased in this world, I think that's the connective thread in how everything is connected, right? Right? Even a
That's
simple
true.
art on a wall can trace back to the origins of the artist in a country that is being bombed for political reasons, and then that can trace its way to why politicians make decisions that without considering what humanity has done for years and years. Because at the end of the day, what do we have to show as humans?
Exactly.
It is
What do we
what
have
we
to
were able
show?
to
I mean,
create,
it's exactly what
right?
create and we leave as a legacy for our future
Yeah,
generations, and that's
yeah.
that's what
The art
matters the
remains
most.
even after the art is gone.
Hmm.
But if the art is being burnt while the artist is watching, it's a whole different. That is destruction, right? Not of the
Abs-
natural order. So I guess
Absolutely.
the point today is preserve art, preserve everything we have created as humans in this world. Say no to wars. I hope politicians become less corrupted and think about the decisions that they make, not just for immediate gain, but for the preservation of humanity and everything that humans have done on Earth.
Yep.
That's a message.
That's the message.
That's a
Yes.
simple message from a long conversation of the Sunday draft episode. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good week ahead, Kanti. I'll talk to you next week.
Next week. Yes.
All
Have a
right, bye.
good day.